I know that the mayor has no plan. He has come up with no plan at all. And in fact, this is kind of typical. The mayor has shown up every spring at the end of session to pronounce what he would like to see happen. And as you know, the budget gets put together starting in November. I present my budget, well, really we start at the beginning of a fiscal year, but about in November, we're in the details of the budget. I present that budget to the legislature in February. So that seems like a good time period to come talk to the governor's office. Then there's February to May. There's all that time to come talk to the legislature, which has my budget in hand, or the governor's office. Again, we've seen almost nothing out of the mayoral administration here on that subject, or really any other. And so to show up in May and have a bunch of demands seems like late in the game, and it's unfortunate that's happened most years.
What's going on in the city of Chicago?
Injured across the city, including several teens. Mike Tobin has the latest. Mike?
Well, Dana, here we go again. Summer kicks off, the holiday when we're supposed to remember those who paid the ultimate price in service of the nation, and the whole thing gets overwhelmed by violence. Early Sunday morning, another teen takeover a little west of the University of Illinois at Chicago. Chicago police showed up to disperse the crowd, and they were rammed by a car. 5 officers were transported to local hospitals. Each officer survived. Now, police say the driver is 18-year-old Rashad Johnson. He had a weapon with him. He's facing multiple felony charges, including attempted murder, and he's expected in court today. That takeover, just one of many across the city. In the Little Village neighborhood, officers heard gunfire, responded, and found 14 shot. The youngest, 14 years old. The gunman fled the scene. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson went back to a familiar message and said parents need to know where their kids are.
Look at the mayor's response. This dude ran over 5 cops. He had a gun. He shot other kids down at the mob team takeover, right? Brandon Johnson said that he was going to fix this by giving kids jobs when he was running for election. He said they need jobs. If you give them jobs, they wouldn't do this. Now, I'm going to fix this by giving them jobs has turned into, oh, well, the parents need to know where their kids at. Here's my question. As a parent of a 17-year-old daughter, you stripped us of the ability to discipline our children. We could know where they at all damn day, but what can we do to make sure that they stay in the house and they don't go outside and commit crime? Well, there's nothing we could do. If I whoop their butt, guess what? You're taking me to jail.
Video from the evening of Memorial Day shows large crowds of teens taking over 57th Street Beach and streets in Hyde Park. Police said there were several hundred. The rowdy crowd is seen fighting, dancing on top of squad cars, and throwing objects at officers as police tried to clear the area. Chicago police say 53 people were arrested and 9 weapons, including guns, knives, tasers, and bear mace, were recovered. About half of those charged were minors for things like weapons charges, reckless conduct, and failing to disperse. Police are also still searching for the gunman who shot and injured an 18-year-old and 2 19-year-olds just hours after the crowd moved into Hyde Park later that night, just blocks away.
You found 9 guns. You had to arrest 53 people because they didn't want to listen. These kids won't even listen to the damn police. The police got guns, y'all. Please tell me what you think the damn parents gonna do. If these little bastards won't listen to the police, what are the parents gonna do? Your mama ain't got no gun, and if she do, she can't shoot you with it. She can't shoot you with it. And this is what I'm saying. They've totally emboldened these kids to go out and do wild stuff, and now all of a sudden, oh, we gonna toss it back to you. This is what happens when the state is sponsoring the destruction of the youth.
Absolutely. Again, I'm going to thank him for his recognition of the harm that slavery caused across the globe, and how, as we celebrate, as you all know, we're going into our 250th year as a nation. This nation is not what it is without the free labor and the forced labor of black people.
Black kids is taking over Chicago, running over cops, killing each other, and the mayor of Chicago talking about slavery. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Black kids are running over police officers, killing each other, killing each other. And the mayor of Chicago is talking about slavery. You can't even arrest these kids, so how are they oppressed? You can't, if you can't place them under arrest, they cannot be oppressed. I want y'all to say it with me. If you cannot place them under arrest, they cannot be oppressed.
And so that apology and that recognition is very much aligned with my ongoing effort to repair the harm that has been caused by slavery.
Chicago is the biggest city in Illinois. So if Chicago is run down and in disrepair and companies are leaving Chicago, that's a lot of tax revenue that the state is losing from that major city. Just as New York City does a lot of the heavy lifting for the state of New York, right? Chicago does a lot of heavy lifting for the state of Illinois, right? So when Brandon Johnson allows Chicago to become an absolute dump, the state of Illinois and the governor, they're going to have something to say about that.
That the mayor has no plan. He has come up with no plan at all about how the Bears would end up in the city of Chicago. So that's problematic. I'd love them to be in the city, but we're 3 years in now and he still has no plan. And in fact, this is kind of typical. The mayor has shown up every spring at the end of session to pronounce what he would like to see happen. And as you know, the budget gets put together starting in November. I present my budget, well, really we start at the beginning of a fiscal year, but about in November, we're in the details of the budget. I present that budget to the legislature in February. So that seems like a good time period to come talk to the governor's office. Then there's February to May. There's all that time to come talk to the legislature, which has my budget in hand, or the governor's office. Again, we've seen almost nothing out of the mayoral administration here on that subject, or really any other. And so to show up in May and have a bunch of demands seems like late in the game, and it's unfortunate that's happened most years.
That's happened most years. So most years, Brandon Johnson, he's been totally inept as mayor. And when Brandon Johnson was attacking Trump, him and Pritzker were best friends. They was hugged up, taking pictures, getting photo ops. But now that Brandon Johnson's radical socialist communist policies are hurting the revenue coming out of the city of Chicago, JB throwing him under the bus. Because something in me believes that JB wants to run for president, right? And just like Gavin Newsom, as we call him here, as we affectionately refer to him in this lovely state of California, just as Gavin Newsom is going to be basically deemed unelectable due to his disastrous management of California, JB Pritzker will have the mismanagement of Illinois hounding him if he tries to run for president. At this point, they're going to have to just run Kamala again. And I don't think she'll win. At this point, they will have to run Kamala again. And and that is a for sure loss in 2028. So now he's blaming social media companies. He's like, yeah, we want to tax the social media companies for their involvement in the teen takeovers. These guys, it's all the blame game. Man, come on, bro.
Are taking place. There is an effort in city council to hold the social media apparatuses accountable. I believe that we should continue to explore that, and I'm going to continue to work with Alderman Hall around that. It's why we're actually taxing these big tech companies for the role that they have played in and harming the mental health and well-being of our young people.
Brandon, you are the one preventing the police officers from arresting these kids. Brandon, you are the one preventing the police and the DA and all these people from charging these kids with very serious charges according to the very serious crimes that they are committing. The mayor is blocking the police from enforcing the law.
I mean, to refer to children as like baby Al Capones is not appropriate. No, that's not appropriate. We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. Hold on a second, okay? Respectfully, these large gatherings, just hold on a second, y'all. I promise you, we have time to talk. It's important that we speak of these dynamics in an appropriate way. This is not to obfuscate what is actually taking place. But we have to be very careful when we use language to describe certain behavior. There's history in this city.
Democrats, how do y'all vote for these people, man? This man blaming Facebook, dog. This man is blaming Facebook. We talking about practice. How are you blaming Facebook for a situation you literally created? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I hope to God it doesn't make any sense.
We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. Hold on a second, okay? Respectfully, these large gatherings, just hold on a second, y'all.
He's stopping the media because he doesn't want them to call the large group of black kids known as the mob as a mob, right? Like the mob is fickle, Shakespeare. Any large group of people doing violence is called a mob, right? That's being controlled by emotion. That's a mob.
This was the scene near Roosevelt and Canal Sunday night. Groups looted a convenience store. More than 36 teenagers were arrested, along with a 12-year-old and at least one 20-year-old. Store owners say it was the second such incident in that area in just the past few weeks. And today, Mayor Johnson commended Chicago police for the way they handled it.
To the best of their ability, I believe that they attempted to engage with our young people, with community partners, giving as much warning as they possibly could. And, unfortunately, arrests, were made.
Unfortunately, arrests were made. Bro, thank God arrests were made. What do you mean? Every arrest that is made in a situation like that is we are very fortunate to have it made. I love Chicago. My family lives there, but my cousin, who I really love and go stay with, she lives in Indiana. These days, I go hang with her in Indiana more than I walk around Chicago. I ain't taking my kids to Chicago in day or night these days. The city is unsafe. He refuses to be the mayor. He's trying to be Martin Luther King. He's not trying to be a mayor for all Chicagoans. He's trying to be a civil rights activist for the black folk. Do your damn job, Brandon Johnson. And if you don't want to do the job, get the hell out of the city. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate every single thing you do for me in this channel. Until the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. And like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.